Why you always forget people's names and why you're not rude. You just ran into someone you've met before, maybe twice, maybe 5 times, and their name? Gone. Not on the tip of your tongue. Not even close. Just absent. Like your brain never bothered to save the file, and now you're doing the thing. The social performance. Slightly repositioning your body, hoping someone else says their name first. Praying for any interruption, a phone call, a fire alarm, literally anything. Here's what nobody tells you. The people who do this most often aren't careless. They're not rude, and they're almost certainly not as unintelligent as they've quietly been made to feel. Something very specific is happening in their brain. And once you understand it, the guilt stops making sense. Here's what's actually going on. The moment you meet someone, your brain is running multiple processes at once, reading their face, picking up on tone, figuring out the social context, calculating whether they like you and whether you like them, deciding what to say next. Your working memory is already juggling 6 things, and right into that chaos, someone hands you one arbitrary sound. Hi, I'm Kevin. Kevin. Okay, but Kevin doesn't mean anything. It doesn't connect to anything you already know. No image, no concept, no feeling, just a floating sound in a brain that's too overloaded to hold it. Psychologists actually studied this. In 1987, researchers McWeeny and Ellis found something now called the Baker-Baker paradox. They showed 2 groups the same photo of a person. One group was told he was a baker by profession. The other was told his last name was Baker. Days later, the people who learned the occupation remembered it far more easily. Same word. Completely different retention, because baker as a job activates something. Flour, bread, early mornings, an entire mental image. Baker as a name activates nothing. It just floats there with no anchor. Names are semantically empty by design, and your brain, efficient machine that it is, holds on to things that mean something. But there's a more personal layer here. A lot of chronic name forgetters aren't distracted because they're arrogant. They're distracted because they're anxious. While someone is introducing themselves, there's an entire internal monologue running. Am I making enough eye contact? Was that handshake too firm? Did I just interrupt them? The name comes in, and the internal noise bulldozes straight over it. There's actually a documented phenomenon for this. The next in line effect, first studied in 1973, showed that people waiting to speak in a group had dramatically reduced memory for what the person directly before them said, because mentally they'd already moved on. People with social anxiety, or even just an overactive self-awareness, live in that mode permanently, half present, half already preparing the next move. If that's you, that's not a memory problem. That's a preoccupation problem. Very different thing. And to the people whose names keep getting forgotten, the sting is real. Having your name forgotten feels like a small, quiet message. You didn't matter enough to stick. That's how it lands. Even when it's completely wrong. The person who forgot your name probably replayed the conversation afterward. They remember what you said, the specific way you reacted to something, an opinion you had that caught them off guard. They were there, just not quite there for the part where you said your name. Because memory isn't a recording. It's not a hard drive saving files in order. It stores impressions, emotions, patterns, fragments, and it prioritizes ruthlessly. High emotion, saved. Surprising, saved. Connected to something familiar, saved. One arbitrary syllable handed to you at the exact moment you were busy trying to appear normal in front of a stranger. Good luck. People who forget names easily tend to be highly associative thinkers. Their memory is built around stories, feelings. The look on someone's face when they said something that actually mattered. Ask them what someone wore at a party 3 years ago. They might actually know. Ask them that person's name, blank. Their brain was cataloging everything except the label. That's not a flaw. It's a different architecture. One that's genuinely better suited for emotional attunement, for storytelling, for the kind of listening that makes people feel actually understood. It's just worse at the mechanical task of retaining a name under social pressure. None of this means you shouldn't try to improve. Repeat the name back immediately when you hear it. Connect it to someone you already know. Build the association manually because your brain won't do it automatically. You're essentially constructing a bridge between Kevin and something that already has a home in your mind. But the shame, the quiet belief that forgetting names makes you someone who moves through the world without real